All living things are dependent upon energy. But we're only dependent upon energy insofar as we need it. Now, the basic distinction between us and the rest of life on this planet is the rest of life takes energy as it needs it. We are the only form of life the world has ever heard of that takes energy because it wants it, not because it needs it. And that means taking more energy than you need.
Then will you do me a favor and define what you think is all we really need? You make a mention in your book about the difference between need and greed. Interesting rhyming words. Where for you is the difference between need and greed? Obviously you're saying we take more than we need. More than we need.
I think that's simple. Need is what you actually need to survive. Greed is what you take in order to make a margin of profit. To accrue.
You are indicting capitalism?
I am indicting capitalism, whether it is socialist capitalism or whether it is private capitalism. I'm indicting it totally. You take what you need to survive. When you take more, you are taking it for a purpose of accrual. You are trying to build up a reservoir of worth, of value, of energy, of money, call it what you want. And that is intolerable and anti-nature. It is not to be accepted.
Farley, how can you say it's anti-nature when human beings seem naturally to be the only species that wants to store up more than he apparently needs for the moment? Would you agree with that?
Yes, of course, it's true. It's an aberration.
But why do we do that? Don't we do that in order to determine that these are the terms upon which we have decided we must survive or can survive?
We do it because of an aberration. There is
What's the aberration?
The instinctive desire or drive in all forms of life is to live, to survive, eh? Now, some forms of life have to store certain things in order to be able to get over bad periods, particularly people in the north or animals in the north. But there is a limit to how much you need to store in order to survive. Now, we have transcended that limit. We have turned that whole concept into a way of life. We have,
obviously.
Of course we have.
How can you reverse it? How can you change it?
I don't think you can. I think it's irreversible. Once any form of life becomes addicted to this aberration, they're stuck with it. And they're going to stay with it until they die. And I think that the human species is stuck with it and is going to stay with it until the human species dies. And I'm sure that the human species is not long for this world. There is no way that we as a species, we as a form of life, we as the dominant form of life, can survive very long on this concept of take, and give nothing.
I suggest to you that there is more to the human spirit in terms of survival than you have given it credit for.
Well,
I put it to you, I challenge you.
Go ahead and suggest it, but be specific.
All right. That when faced with the finger that comes down from the cosmos that says, stop, enough, if you don't stop, you're in peril, we will stop.
The finger never says this. We have free will. All forms of life upon this planet have free will.
All forms?
All forms of life have free will. There is no controlling factor that is going to suddenly lower the boom and say, hey, smarten up before you get in trouble. We either have to sense that we're in trouble and do something about it as a species, or we are done.